Assalamu alaikum. This is an urgent video that's been asked for because many people have asked the question about opening their fast at the published sunset time. So they Google it or they look on the local Met Office or the local weather office and see the sunset time and open the fast at that. And that's becoming alarmingly concerning for people, especially those who are away from home and don't have a calendar with them. They may be in the office or they may be on the road and they use this published sunset time. So that is not the time you should be opening your fast. So this is an urgent video and you should share this with as many people as you possibly can. So may Allah Ta'ala give us the ability to complete our fasts properly and in accordance with the Sharia and the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So iftar is not at sunset. So you do not break your fast at sunset. Important to know this and do not destroy your fast by not doing so. If you use the sunset time, you will be destroying your fast. So it's really important you do that. So I'm going to give a summary here because I know a lot of you people have got a really short attention span and will switch off in the next 30 seconds. So here's a summary, and people want the detail and the evidence behind it, they can carry on with the video, and those who don't, they can switch off after this summary slide. But make sure you all subscribe to this because there'll be more stuff being put on during the month, and just make sure you don't miss out on anything like this. The Islamic sunset is different to the published sunset times from the meteorological offices or any other stuff. So the definition of sunset that's being used by weathermen or by scientists is different to the Islamic sunset definition. So just because we say you open your fast when the sun sets does not mean that it is the published sunset times that we find on Google or on the internet or on the Met Office or on the nautical offices. Using that sunset to open your fast means you will be opening your fast too early. And if you open your fast too early, even by a moment, you invalidate the whole day's fast. This is an opinion that's agreed upon by all. Opening your fast intentionally, because when you do open your fast, you will be opening intentionally, but you will be doing it at the wrong time. By doing that, your whole day's fast is validated. That's why it's really, really important that you understand this point. As a caution, most learned people who understand their science and understand their fiqh and Islamic Sharia, they add around 4 minutes to the published sunset time. So they add 4 minutes to the published sunset time. My view is that at minimum you must be at 2 minutes and maximum 6 minutes. I've added a maximum because you must not delay opening the fast. Once you know and you're certain that the time of iftar has arrived, the sun has set according to the Sharia, you must open your fast immediately. Delaying it is sinful, and the Prophet ﷺ warned against delaying it. So you must open your fast. Again, do subscribe to this channel. Take a moment to do that. One, it'll boost this channel in the ratings, which means that more people will benefit from this. And then you will also be connected with the channel and get any updates that you might need. So let's get into the detail of why sunset, as published here, is not the sunset in Sharia. 3 main reasons. One is a margin of error. The second is that sunset published is at sea level. And the third is a refraction of the sun. So let's get into the detail of what they actually mean. What is a sunset in Islam? So we break our fast when the sun has set or sunk. This means that we can no longer see it. So it's important to remember that it's not about the sun setting below the horizon. It's about us not being able to see the sun because it is set, not because it's hidden behind a mountain or cloud. It's an important distinction there. If it's hidden behind a cloud, the sun hasn't set in Sharia, and if the sun appeared again, you'll be in trouble. And that's what happened once in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, where people lost the sun because it had gone behind a cloud. They thought it had set, but then later on, the clouds moved and the sun was still there, and they could see the sun, and they had to then redo that fast. So it's important to understand it's when you cannot see the sun anymore. If you can see the sun, you can't break your fast. If you did, you would invalidate it, as I said before. So it's about not being able to see the sun because it is set, not that the sun has set. There's a distinction here. You must not be able to see the sun. It's not about the sun setting. It's about you not being able to see the sun because it is set. So the setting has to happen, and then you must not be able to see it after the setting of the sun. That's an important significance to remember. So once you understood, sunset in Islam is when you're not able to see the sun. What's the Met Office definition then? The Met Office definition, and you can Google this, you can look at it, do some research yourself across the world. It's when the top of the sun falls below the horizon. So if you look at the sun, its very top part, when that goes below the horizon level, that's when you get the sunset time. That's what the time means. This doesn't mean, and nor do the scientists or the meteorological or the nautical offices ever claim that that is a time that you will not be able to see the sun. All they are saying to you is that the sun now, the top tip of the sun has now fallen below the horizon. That's all they're saying. They're never ever claiming that you would never see the sun. That's the problem that we've got, because that definition is different to the definition in Islam of sunset, which is you not being able to see the sun. So we can't blindly follow the sunset time. That sunset time will definitely be before the Islamic iftar time and the breaking of fast time and the Maghrib time. First thing to remember, and everybody will admit to this within the scientific community, that there is a margin of error within the sunset time. So despite the definition difference, even if there was no definition difference between the Sharia and the nautical offices, the sunset times published carry a margin of error of 1 to 2 minutes. And also they round up. Some places will give you to the second, others will round up or down. So they do some roundings. And now the problem with the rounding is, as I said, if you're 10 seconds early, if they've rounded up or they've rounded down, you're in trouble then, because you've then opened it early by seconds, which is wrong. Because there's an error, a margin of error. Margin of error could work both ways, but there's a margin of error. For Muslims, we need to be sure it's iftar. Even a second early will invalidate our fast. So we need to take into account that there is that error rate within the published sunset time, even before we get to the definition of sunset. So there's always that margin of error. This potentially adds 1 to 2 minutes to our time. The other thing to remember is that the definition amongst the observatory is at sea level. So they do it at sea level, which means that if you're standing at basically it means that the tip of the sun has gone below the horizon. And if you were standing at sea level, you would then be able to say, I can't see the sun because now it's gone below the horizon and I'm at sea level and I can't see below that. But none of us are at sea level. We're higher up. Because we're higher up, it means we can see below. We can see the sun even after it's gone below the horizon, because we're higher up. The timing that they give below the horizon it's at sea level, but we can still see the sun for some time after its top tip has gone below the horizon. So we can still see, which means that the definition in Islam of sunset has not been established, because we can still see the sun. This adds a few more minutes to the published sunset time. It's a bit like if you're on the top of a mountain, you can see quite down because of the angle you're at. You can see what's down below. Then if you were at the bottom of the mountain, some things you couldn't see below because they're at your level. You can't see them. But at a high level, you can see them because of the angle. That's an important thing to remember. Remember, most of our cities, most of our dwellings are way above sea level. So that published sunset time, again, is too early for us. Now, let me give you the example, a real living example, and people can Google this and look this up. Look for Burj Khalifa iftar times. In Dubai, most of you will have heard the Burj Khalifa. I don't know why we've heard of it, because it's a travesty, and it's just a vanity project. But it's a tall building in Dubai. Now, if you live in that tall building, there are 3 separate iftar times based on the floor you're on, and that picks up the point about the sea level and you being able to see the sun after it's gone below the horizon, right, which is based on sea level times. So there are 3 different times within that building. There's more than 150 floors in that building. There's 3 different times. They're in the same place. People are standing on top of one another in that building, but they are not allowed to open their fast. And that's from the official authorities there, that they have been given 3 different times. So the higher up you are, the later you will break your fast. That just shows the higher up you are above sea level, the more longer you will be able to see the sun. And it's said, up to 3 minutes later. So if you're on the bottom to the top, there's a difference between 3 minutes. People on the bottom of Burj Khalifa will open their fast 3 minutes before the people on the top of Burj Khalifa, or even 3/4 of the way up, because of the angle that they're at, and because they are still able to see the sun even though it's gone below sunset or below the horizon, and after the published sunset time. So this shows that the ulama know that once the sun goes below the horizon, it doesn't mean that you can't see it, and it doesn't mean that the iftar time has been established. Thus, we need to add a few more minutes because of where we are above that sunset, above the horizon, above sea level. So that adds another few more minutes to the timing of the published sunset times. The last point I'll mention is refraction. This means that given the angle of the sun and the earth and the atmosphere, the sun is actually visible to us even after it goes below the horizon. So it appears higher because of atmospheric pressure and all that stuff out there, which I won't go into. Again, people can do their own research and validate this. you can actually, the sun appears to us to be higher than it actually is. So the next slide actually gives you that. This bottom point here, bottom sun here, is the actual position. But when you're standing on the earth, because of the refraction of the atmosphere, you can see it higher up. So it appears to you higher up. And in for iftar, it's about being able to see the sun, not about its position. It's about being able to see the sun. Even though the sun's gone below the horizon, it will always appear to us to be slightly higher than it actually is. And for us, it's vision. It's what we can see. So, so the sun is still visible after the published time sunset, and that's a well-known fact amongst scientists, a reality. This can add up to 3 more minutes. Some have said it can add up to 5 minutes to the timing. So refraction of the sun means that the published sunset time, even though the sun's gone below the horizon, to you, it will appear as if it's still above the horizon. Therefore, you cannot open your fast because you can still see the sun. So in summary, there's 3 reasons why we do not use the published sunset times for iftar times, and we mustn't. Margin of error, sunset at sea level, and refraction. So do not use published sunset as iftar. You will be breaking your fast if you do. To be safe, I'm recommending you add 3 to 5 minutes, and you'll find various ulama giving slightly different ones, but I think maximum I've seen is 5 to 6 minutes. Minimum, I think you've got about 3 minutes given what we've seen. The margin of error could work both ways, but the sunset at sea level and the refraction are adding a few minutes each. So I would say and recommend to people to add as a minimum 3 minutes, add 4 to be safe, and to be ultra safe, you can add 5 minutes. But having said that, do not delay it much after that, because you must, as the Prophet ﷺ said, open your fast as soon as you can, as soon as you know iftar time is. As soon as you can doesn't mean you open it early before iftar. It means after iftar has been established, you do not needlessly delay it. So may Allah Ta'ala give us that ability. Again, subscribe to this channel, share this channel with your friends, because I think this is a really important matter. As a number of people have been raising this with me in the last few days. I thought it was common knowledge, and it just shows what a isolated life I'm leading, that I didn't know that people didn't know this. So please make sure. I've looked at certain timetables and they are not adding this much time on. So this is really important, that the people whose timetable you look at are important. Do not come up with the phrase that I follow my local masjid. You don't follow your local masjid. You follow the Quran and the Sunnah and the Sharia of the Prophet ﷺ. Who do you know? How do you know the people at your local masjid are any more learned than you are? You cannot use that as an excuse. You've got all the information in front of you. Everything I've said in this slide pack, please do your own research, Google it, and then obviously check Googling is dangerous, but look at the websites that you are going onto from that page and see what's on there, and do your own research and establish it. And if I've made a mistake, do drop me a message at the bottom of this comment. So may Allah Ta'ala give us the ability to fulfill our fasts and to open our fast at the correct time. Wa alaikum assalam.